Saint Sharbel Makhlouf was a Lebanese hermit who lived during the 20th century. He is a well-known saint of the Eastern Maronite branch of the Christian Church, and he is also considered a medical mystery. Joseph Makhlouf was born in 1828 in Lebanon. His father did not live long after his son's birth, so Joseph was raised by his mother and an uncle. This poor family was very devout though, and they prayed together and they loved together as a family. During his upbringing, Joseph often visited two other uncles who were hermits. Joseph saw their lifestyle as a role model that he could follow for his own. In 1851, at the age of 23, Joseph walked for 10 hours to the Abbey of Anaya to study at the monastery. The other monks and priests there decided that it was time for Joseph to take on a different name, so they began to call him Sharbel, a name for a martyred monk. In 1859, Sharbel was ordained as a priest for the Eastern Maronite Church. He finally found his happiness in the priesthood that he was searching for ever since he was a young boy. After completing his studies and sharing his love for the Lord with others, Saint Sharbel finally was allowed to go and live the life of a hermit. Sharbel lived this hermit-style life with great thanks and appreciation to his superiors. People from all around the country would come to visit Saint Sharbel to ask for his advice and his intercession. After living in the hermitage for 23 years, Saint Sharbel suffered a severe stroke during Mass and died on Christmas Eve 1898, but the Lord was not quite done with him yet. A few months after his death, shining lights were able to be seen from around his grave. God had allowed for Sharbel's body to continue sweating and bleeding even after his death. Saint Sharbel is not an incorruptible though, which means that the body would look like it's simply sleeping. Sharbel's medical mystery is that his blood and sweat are still excreting from his body, which is nothing short of a miracle that has had the potential to cause many to return to their faith and to rethink their own morality. Pope Paul VI canonized Saint Sharbel Makhlouf on October 9, 1977. 20 years ago, in 1993, Saint Sharbel is still performing miracles. One of the best-known signs of the Holy Spirit working through this man was for Nohad el-Shami, a woman who was partially paralyzed. She says that while sleeping, she saw two Lebanese hermits at her bedside who healed her of her paralysis. This miracle is attributed to Sharbel Mahklouf. Sharbel Makhlouf's story tells us that God is never quite done with us. He has amazing plans for each and every one of us. All we have to do is say yes, and our lives can be drastically changed for the better.